The opposition leader Tony Abbott is in Queanbeyan this morning in New South Wales. He's been speaking to the media. He's just started in the last few minutes. Let's listen to that now.
Okay, look, it's terrific to be here at the Queanbeyan RSL Bowling Club. It's good to be with Peter Hendy, the candidate for Eden Monaro, my shadow ministerial colleagues, Michael Ronaldson and Stuart Robert, and of course with General Molam, who is one of Australia's most senior and most celebrated recently serving soldiers. And look, it's great to be with the ex-service community and to talk to them about their issues. I'll come back to that in a moment, but I just want to say, by way of introduction, that today marks 6 months until September the 14th, which is the date that the Prime Minister has nominated for the election. And every day between now and September the 14th, I'll be talking about our Real Solutions plan to give Australia a more prosperous economy for a safe and secure future. And we are going to deliver 2 million jobs over a decade. We will remove the toxic taxes such as the carbon tax and the mining tax, which are holding our economy back. We will stop the boats by reintroducing the policies that have been proven to work, and we will get the budget back in the black, because it's only by removing unnecessary spending that we will have the money to spend on the things that Australians really need, like a proper indexation system for our defence pensions. And in 6 months' time, 6 months from today, the Australian people can vote for a fair and just system for Australia's defence pensioners. The DFRDB and the DFRB deserve to be indexed properly. What's good for civilians is good for former Defence Force personnel. They have taken risks for our country. They have potentially put their lives on the line for us, and we need to respect them and to honour them in their retirement, and that's what the Coalition will do. I'm going to ask Rono to say a few words and then I'll take some questions.
Thanks, Tony. Well, this policy, of course, recognises the uniqueness of military service, which the Coalition and Tony are very passionate about. The Labor Party has had now 2 chances to bring in fair indexation. There was a Coalition bill in the Senate 2 years ago, which the government voted down. Yesterday, 2 minutes before we were due to vote to debate some amendments on a veterans bill, they pulled the bill, and they will not debate our fair indexation bill. They are constantly letting down the DFRDB and the DFRB veterans. The person who should be taking responsibility for this is the man who talks the talk but refuses to walk the walk. Now, Mark Kelly, of all people, should know how important this is. Mark Kelly comes down to Queanbeyan, he says he's going to do something about it, and when he goes back into the Parliament House, he does nothing at all. Now, Mike Kelly has got to stand up for the people he says he represents. Mike Kelly has let them down. Mike Kelly should ensure that this bill is brought on for debate in the Senate next week so we can deliver fair indexation.
Okay, do we have any questions?
The Prime Minister's announced that you'll lock penalty rates into the Fair Work Act. What's your response to that?
We'll have a look at the detail of the particular proposal, but as I understand it, what she said is that these would be matters for Fair Work Australia or the Fair Work Commission, and that's actually the way things currently are. So it's not really a new announcement, it's just another gesture, and we support ensuring that workers get a fair go, and as I keep saying, the pay and conditions of the decent, hard-working people of Australia will be safe under the Coalition.
The Prime Minister's again taken on the 457 visa issue today. Do you concede that there are some foreign workers, at least there are examples of foreign workers taking away opportunities from Australians?
This is a massive smokescreen to hide the government's persistent failures on border protection, and we've had 7 boats in just 9 days. Every time the Prime Minister talks about 457s, think border protection failures, because that's all this is. It is a simple distraction, a transparent political tactic by a government and a Prime Minister desperate to hide their own failures.
Stop the boats. When will Australians be able to judge you on that promise? What's the time frame that you can be judged on whether or not you've upheld that commitment?
Well, we can make a difference from the first few weeks. We can make a difference from the first few weeks, but I just want to reiterate what I think was a very good statement by Barry O'Farrell in the New South Wales Parliament yesterday. This is a Prime Minister who can't stop the boats. So what's she doing? She wants to stop the brains from coming to Australia, because these are people who are making an economic contribution, paying taxes from day one. These are skilled migrants, and you'll never find from me any attempt to criticise skilled migrants coming to this country.
Boats don't return to Howard era levels post-2001 by, say, your first 100 days in office. Will you have failed?
As I said, I think we can make a substantial difference within a matter of weeks, and we have the policies that have been proven to work. Now, they don't work overnight, they don't necessarily even work in a week, but in a relatively short space of time, we will see a very substantial difference. It's important to remember that more illegal arrivals have come in the last 9 months under this government than came in the whole 11 years of the Howard government.
The 457 issue is xenophobia and the race card.
That's really an issue for the Prime Minister, but the hypocrisy of this government is truly monumental. The Prime Minister said 2 years ago that the 457 system was working well. Now she's trying to say that this is somehow responsible for all the job insecurity that people throughout our country are facing. Well, if you want to know why the workers of Australia are facing job insecurity, look at the carbon tax, look at the botched mining tax, look at this government's profligacy, look at all the regulations that this government is loading up the employers of this country with. That's why the workers of this country face economic insecurity, and the Prime Minister should just for once be fair dinkum about that.
Was Joe Hockey rolled in shadow cabinet over his proposed cuts to the baby bonus?
I just want to make it absolutely crystal clear that we do not support governments breaking their promises. Now, this government swore till it was blue in the face prior to getting elected that it was not going to tamper with the baby bonus. This is the fourth substantial change to the baby bonus. This is the fourth time the government has dudded the families of Australia by reducing the baby bonus, and we are not going to support in the Parliament a government yet again breaking a solemn commitment. Now, if this legislation...
And did the shadow cabinet support or reject that?
If this legislation is passed by the Parliament, we give no guarantees that we will be able to restore it, because we are in a very dire fiscal position because of the $300 billion in debt that this government has saddled us with.
Guarantee ever that you'll restore?
Obviously, we're proud of the baby bonus. The baby bonus was one of the signature policies of the Howard government. It was such a successful policy that this government promised before it got elected never to touch it, never to detract from it. But yet again, it's a broken promise.
Now the point, save $500 million, and you are promising to get the budget back into surplus.
Now the point I make is that we cannot solve all the problems of this country from the wrong side of the Parliament, and we can't fix all of the damage that this government has done overnight.
No, but on penalty rates, just on penalty rates, under a coalition government, would you commit to keeping penalty rates as they are today?
Well, penalty rates are a matter for the Fair Work Commission, and that's the way it should stay.
Just back to the baby bonus. You're saying you'll oppose it in the Parliament on the politics, not on the economics of it.
Well, it's very important that we get the budget deficit under control, but the best way to do that is not to be tough on the Australian people. It's to reduce waste and bloat in government, and that's where the thrust of the coalition's expenditure reductions will be. We want to reduce waste and bloat in government. We don't want to be tough on the forgotten families of Australia.
To actually cut the baby bonus, though, on the economics?
No, there is a determination on the part of the coalition to reduce unnecessary government spending. And the best way to reduce unnecessary government spending is to eliminate the waste and the bloat in government.
Mr. Abbott, how would you characterise the leadership change in the Northern Territory yesterday?
I'm not going to pretend that there hasn't been a degree of instability over the last few weeks in the Territory government, but the interesting thing is that change was affected by the party room, not by the faceless men of the union movement.
What about change at the Vatican?
Look, it's a great day for the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. It's a momentous day for the Church, and that's good.
Endorse the process that was carried out in the Northern Territory by your party?
In the end, every parliamentary leader depends upon the support, the ongoing support of the party room, and the fundamental distinction between the coalition and the Labor Party is that our party room makes or breaks the leader. With the Labor Party, it's not the caucus, it's the faceless men dictating to the caucus that makes or breaks prime ministers.